Hello, friends. How are you? I think you are fine. Is it? You are really fine? Fit and fine? It generally happens when someone asks about the well being of some other person. He generally receives the answer that he is quite well. But being quite well is unbelievable. Spend only few minutes and he will start revealing his agony, his pain, his troubles, a lot of difficulties, his tension. Tension. Do you know, friends? Tension has become now a great disease. You can say tension is the biggest cause of many major diseases. Who on the earth would not like to be tension free? Particularly, my question goes to those who are aspirants or professionals are seeking good jobs in corporate area or in government area. Whatsoever the field may be there, it doesn't matter. The person is in tension. Tension has now become the biggest cause of many diseases. Very often we hear about the suicidal attempts, and a lot of griefs, a lot of troubles of the people. Most of the people, particularly the persons who are trying to be something good, who are trying to be in any prestigious position, is trying to get something, achieve something bigger. That person is in tension. What is the remedy of tension? Tension, who would not like to be free from tension? I'm here before you to talk about the tension, its causes, and its renunciations. How to be free from tension? Money has now become a great object of almost all the people, and most of the people would like and they like to achieve more than their efforts, more than their capacity. Imagination knows no bound. Anyone can imagine to be rich without thinking about his capacity, his power, his efforts, and his calibers. But imagination knows no bound. Being a millionaire or billionaire is now no far from the dream of most of the people. Is this the cause of tension? Having a great desire without estimating the power is the cause of tension. But who is going to bother to think about the capacity, the power, the efforts, the caliber of the self? But if you try to make the person understand to think about both the side means one side is about his effort, about his caliber, and the second side is about the dream. So the dreamers are a lot. Most of the people are dreamers, students, professionals, job seekers, and those who want to be someone special. So desiring is not bad, but not checking, not estimating the capacity is bad. So it becomes a daydream, and the daydream is not going to be fulfilled. Tension causes heart attack. You know, we know, yet we desire. If tension is the cause of disease, desire is the cause of tension. So it is the point to be understood very carefully. No one can prohibit you to desire, because without desire, nothing is going to happen. The first and foremost thing is to desire. But before you desire, you are expected to think about the desire and the essential ingredients of desire. If I am a very common person, if my education level is not very upgraded, if my mental capacity is not very upgraded, if I don't desire without thinking the capacity of the self, my desire becomes daydream. My desire becomes daydream, and I myself know that daydream never gets fulfilled. Yet I desire. So I'm a foolish fellow. If someone makes me understand, I'm not going to obey him. I'm not going to follow the advices of the person. So I'm double foolish. I'm I'm not the person to think about the deserving quality, because I'm not fulfilling the first step. The first step is to think about the self. And thinking about the self requires some understanding about the circumference. Circumference means the person living in the area. First of all, he should try to think what he is going to pursue. Suppose I desire to be an IAS officer. So thinking about an IAS officer is not so difficult. But being an IAS officer is quite difficult. How difficult it is? Do I know? If I know, that's enough. That's okay. But if I don't know, my first duty becomes to ask someone about the IAS officer, about the process of being an IAS officer, about the process of study, about the requirements of being an IAS officer. An, an IAS officer is only an example. Whatsoever you desire to be, suppose you want to be a doctor or an engineer, whatsoever you want to be, think about the self first of all. If thinking about the self doesn't occur, it becomes hurdle. So desire becomes the hurdle. So the first expected thing for the person who is going to pursue something great in his life is to think about the capacity, to think about the efforts, about the possibilities. And in thinking about the possibilities, everything comes in it. And then how much inspirations do we get and from where? If someone is giving us inspiration that is not up to the mark, that is also a hurdle. That is also an obstacle. So, thinking about the obstacle is the first requirement. And removing the obstacles in the way of being an IS officer or the way of being whatsoever you want to be, the first and foremost thing is to think about the self and the capacity of the self and the efforts of the self. If all the things goes properly and the goal is not achieved, then also one should not fall in trouble, although the person falls in trouble after getting failure. So the tension is very common. The tension is but natural if the system is not applied properly. I am here before you on YouTube to talk about the tension, its processes, its methodologies. Yeah, methodologies of tension. How does the tension come into being? And what are really the ways of removing the tension? Thinking has a great power. Aristotle says that what you think you are. But just after that, he says that it is okay that what you think you are. But it generally happens that you think what you are. So try to understand the differences between the two dictums, between the two quotations. The first quotation is what you think you are. And the second quotation is what you are, you think. We generally think what we are. We really think about the first quotation, that is what you think you are. If the thinking process is good, if the thinking process is in order, then the system is going to do well. And if the system does well, then the result comes according to the will, according to your desire. The first focus you should pay on your system of study, the process of study, the goal orientation, and your own inclination about the effort. How much stick to you are? If you are careless, if you are a daydreamer, if you only imagine, if you imagine a lot, but if you do nothing, then the system goes dilapidated. No, that is not to be done. So the tension has now become a great problem for not only the job seekers, for not only the aspirants, for not only the students, but also the family members. A lot of conflicts are created in the family, in the society members, in social circles. People are always in trouble. Physically, they show themselves that they are good, but really, they are not good. They are burning in their heart and mind. They are thinking always about the problems, about their diseases, about their agony, about their poor condition, about their pauperism in so many branches. So the physically, one shows that he is fit and fine, but internally he is not so. What is the reason? The reason is tension. Where, where does the tension exist? This is, I think, a wrong question. The question should be, where does the tension not exist? Everywhere there is tension. So the tension is to be killed. So we can kill the tension, but it needs a process. It requires some methodologies. It needs to be known how does the tension come into being? How does the tension come into mind? And what should we do so that tension may not come? So that we may not feel tensed. Ways are there, system of removing the tension are there, but these systems are to be followed. Only talking about the system is not enough. Only knowing and learning about the system is not enough. Although your understanding about the system can be a panacea. So the panacea is already there with you. Only the problem is that we don't try to take the panacea. And the panacea is to think rightly. The panacea is to think properly. If you learn how to think properly, then you have started getting panacea. And I wish you will try to get the panacea. I think you know what is the panacea. Panacea is right thinking, right living, right learning, and right behaving. So, I'll talk on tension and depression in the next video. And gradually, one by one, I would like to talk on the principles narrated and elaborated by so many seers, by so many rishis and munis of ancient times, such as Maharshi Patanjali. Maharshi Patanjali has derived, he has given a lot of reasons of tensions. So, we have only to understand. I'll elaborate the elaborations of Maharshi Patanjali, and I think that is also based on proper thinking. All the rules and regulations narrated by enumerated people, narrated by innumerable thinkers and philosophers and seers and saints of almost all the religions, of almost all the cultures, everywhere on the earth, they totally have elaborated about the proper thinking, about the ways of proper thinking. And one thing I would say assuredly, that proper thinking is the panacea. We'll talk on proper thinking. We'll learn about proper thinking in the next video. I would like you to subscribe me on YouTube so that it may be easy for me to take the video to you so easily, and you also get the video easily, so that proper learning occurs. So that proper learning may occur. And it is only to be in touch with me through YouTube. So let's meet in the next video. Thank you.